On our anniversary, the barbecue ribs I served to my wife were knocked away by her assistant with a chopstick. Emily is pregnant and can't eat greasy food. Don't you even understand this, brother? My face was frozen, and I almost didn't recover. Emily and I looked at each other with evasive expressions. We have never slept together. Where did she get the child? Ryan's father is critically ill, and his last wish before he died is to have a grandson. You know he has been my assistant for so many years, and even if he has no credit, he has worked hard. I promised him artificial insemination. After you give birth to his child, I won't care about it anymore, don't worry. But we have been together for 4 years, and I have mentioned wanting to have a child many times, but Emily has refused because she was afraid of giving birth and didn't like doing anything too intimate. Now I'm pregnant with someone else's child. I was trembling all over, and my heart was tightening with pain. The few words that almost came out of his throat were, "Then what am I?" Before Emily could say anything, Ryan stood up with red eyes. "I'm sorry, Emily. My dad's last wish before he passed away was not acceptable to my eldest brother. Let him die with regrets." The next second, Emily slapped me in the face. Her eyes widened with anger. "Ryan's father is about to die. Why are you still so fussy? Are you still a man? I didn't sleep with him. What are you doing?" After saying that, she took Ryan's hand and left without looking back. On the anniversary, I was alone in the empty house. The next day, I made a phone call to someone who was far away in a foreign country. "Please help me draft a divorce agreement, Lawyer Sue." The other end immediately let out an excited scream. "You're finally getting a divorce. Does that mean I have a chance?" After hanging up the phone, I silently cleaned up all traces of me in the house. It would be a lie to say that I wasn't sad or hurt. My hands were even shaking when I took down our wedding photos. Emily's grandfather died while saving me from the fire. Before he died, he asked me to take care of Emily. For her grandfather and for my own good conscience, I got close to her, took care of her, and married her. I still remember her eyes shining brightly when we got married, full of anticipation and longing for our future. Although she never let me touch her after marriage, she said that she was traumatized by bad experiences in her childhood and didn't want to experience the pain of childbirth. I never suspected anything, so I kept waiting, but the result was, tears fell to the ground, spreading all over. Just after I booked a flight to leave 3 days later, I received a call from the hospital. "Hello, are you Emily's husband?" Almost instantly, I subconsciously clutched my phone and rushed to the hospital without saying a word, the worry in my heart uncontrollably surging up in my head. But when I reached the door of the ward, I had to stop. The blood was spreading from the soles of my feet, and I felt suffocated by the cold. Emily and Ryan snuggled in the small hospital bed and kissed each other, unable to part. "It's all your fault for pushing too hard. You almost lost the baby, and you put me in the hospital." Ryan held Emily's coquettish hand, his eyes full of affection. "It's because Emily is so attractive. Even if you're pregnant, it can't hide your charm." He curled his lips and whispered in Emily's ear, "Who is better, me or Jason?" The man's other big hand was always hidden in the quilt. I saw with my own eyes that Emily's face gradually turned red, and she even looked dazed and enjoying herself. "Of course it's you. I've never touched that coward before. How can he be as good as you? If it weren't for you, I might never have experienced this kind of happiness in my life, Ryan. It's a pity that I met you too late." My legs were shaking, and I almost fell. I'm so heartbroken that I can hardly breathe. The doctor suddenly appeared behind me, his brows furrowed with dissatisfaction. "Did you know that your wife is pregnant? Why do you still want to do strenuous exercise and have sex? Do you want to kill your wife? How can there be such an irresponsible husband like you in the world? You are no different from a beast." As he said this, he slapped the medical record hard on my chest. I held the medical record in my hand and read it over and over again, but I could not ignore this fact. Taking 2 deep breaths, I suppressed all my emotions and pushed the door open. Emily was caught off guard by my sudden entry, and she hurriedly grabbed the quilt to cover her lower body. At the same time, he pushed Ryan off the bed and looked at me with a hint of guilt on his face. "Jason, why are you here?" I put the medical record on the table in silence. The hospital called me as a family member to come here. But it seems that I came at the wrong time. Emily's eyes stayed on the medical record. There was a flash of panic in her eyes. She forced a smile and leaned over to grab my hand. "You are my husband. You can come anytime. What did the doctor just tell you?" I looked at her cheek. It was still the same as before. "But why do I feel so strange?" "You are pregnant, and you are in the hospital because you had too much force during intercourse." I cast my gaze on Ryan's face, and my tone was filled with frost. "Emily, didn't you say that you guys never had sex? It was all artificial insemination. Are you playing me like a fool?" Emily blushed at what I said. "Honey, listen to me. There are reasons for all this. Yesterday, Ryan was threatening to commit suicide. I was afraid something might happen, so I took the initiative. We both act out of desperation. Don't be angry, okay? I promise you, I will never do this kind of thing with Ryan again." Emily had a gentle expression on her face and acted very sincere. If I hadn't just seen everything at the door, I might have believed her. Taking a deep breath, I sneered. "Last night was an accident, but what about just now? You two lying together and being affectionate with each other. What's that? Emily was stunned by what I said. She didn't expect that I saw everything. He hurriedly grabbed my hand and tried to explain. But I pushed her away. All my pretense was broken, and I shouted angrily. Even if we had an intimate relationship today, it doesn't matter. When I was pregnant, it was really an artificial insemination. I didn't lie to you. Besides, you broke Ryan's heart last night and almost made him jump off the building to commit suicide. I sacrificed myself to prevent you from taking the blame for this life. Jason, it's fine if you don't feel grateful to me, but how can you say that to me? I was so angry that I couldn't speak, and my breath got stuck in my throat. He committed suicide and you sold your body to him. And you even ended up in the hospital because your bed was on fire. And you still want me to be grateful to you. The moment she finished speaking, Emily slapped me hard in the face. The sound was resounding, and my cheeks felt burning with pain. Ryan walked over to Emily's hand and blew on it repeatedly, taking good care of her. I'm sorry, Emily. It's all my fault. It's all my fault. You should have let me die last night. I can't fulfill my father's last wish, so I should die with him. As he spoke, a tear fell, and he quickly wiped it away. But it still fell into Emily's eyes without being noticed. She was still in a daze after hitting me, but when she saw this tear, all her guilt disappeared. Instead, there was a strong feeling of disgust. Jason, why didn't I realize before that you are such a jealous and selfish man? Are you satisfied only if you force others to death? If I had known you were such a person, I shouldn't have saved you. You shouldn't have saved me. These words hit my heart like a hammer. It was hard to breathe, and thousands of words were rolling in my throat. The emotions were stuck in my chest, and I couldn't vent them out. I clenched my palms and laughed at myself. Yes, Grandpa shouldn't have saved me. He should have let me die in the fire. In this way, I might not be with you in this life. Tears rolled down. I lowered my head, my heart clenched. Emily was distracted for a moment, staring at my face, as if she felt a little reluctant. He walked towards me slowly, and was about to reach out to pull me. Ryan rushed to the window and jumped out. This scene shocked all of us, and Emily was so frightened that she rushed over. Fortunately, the floor was not high, and Ryan jumped from the third floor of the hospital. She was rushed to the emergency room immediately. Emily stood at the door, trembling all over, with tears in her eyes. When she looked at me, her eyes were filled with disgust. She stared at me and said, "If anything happens to Ryan, you will be the culprit. You not only killed Ryan, but also his father who was lying in the ICU." I turned away at the beginning and didn't want to speak. An hour later, the doctor came out and told Ryan that he was fine and just had some minor fractures. Emily slowly let go of the breath that was stuck in her throat. Her worried look instantly reminded me that she was also worried about me when we were in love. But now, Emily doesn't have this care and concern for me. My heart sank, and I just felt like this place was suffocating. I tried to escape, but was grabbed by Emily. She looked at me and said, "Go back home and bring your clothes for Ryan to wear." I was so angry that I laughed. "You want me to give him my clothes to wear?" Emily raised an eyebrow as expected. "What else?" "Jason, don't forget, he jumped off the building because of you." Xiaohu bought File Anti-Piracy. Look for Book Robots and choose Xiaohu. It is stable and reliable. You won't fall into traps. If you hadn't been so naughty just now, how could Ryan have jumped off the building? I just asked you to get him some clothes to wear, and you didn't even want to. I clenched my teeth and let out a hum from my throat after a long time. Emily then let me go and continued to instruct me. "By the way, make some chicken soup. Ryan really liked the soup you made for me before." I always start preparing the chicken soup the night before, and it takes me a whole week to learn how to make it. It took me so many failed attempts to make this. Just because she works overtime and is tired, I want her to replenish her body. But all these thoughts of mine were fed to other men. I really couldn't stand it anymore, so I walked away quickly, ignoring Emily's calls behind him. When I got home, I went to the bedroom and cleared out some slightly worn-out clothes from my earlier years. Some of them were bought for me by Emily. After moving to the new house, she said she couldn't wear them anymore and wanted to throw them away, but I insisted on keeping them and putting the precious ones underneath, saying that they were our precious memories. Now, screw the memories. After I packed my things, I didn't leave immediately. First, go and apply for various passport documents and collect evidence in preparation for divorce. It was not until the next day when Emily called to urge him that he finally arrived at the hospital. At this time, Emily was wiping Ryan's body, and he was only wearing a pair of underwear. Emily wiped him gently and considerately with a towel, and the two of them exchanged glances, talking and laughing, even blushing from time to time. I suppressed the slight discomfort in my heart and walked quickly to put down the clothes. "Here are some changes of clothes." He was about to leave, but when he reached the door, Emily stopped him in a gloomy voice. "Wait, who asked you to bring these clothes?" I didn't even turn my head. "I won't wear these clothes anymore. Why can't you give them to me?" Emily grabbed the clothes and walked quickly to me and threw them hard on me. But I didn't even reach out. "Do you know that I saved up for a long time during my part-time jobs in college to buy you these clothes? Can you just say you don't want them?" The clothes fell to the ground, and Emily scowled. I said calmly, They are too old. They are suitable for changing. To protect Xiaohu's documents from piracy, choose Xiaohu, a stable and reliable robot heavy checkmark without pitfalls. Emily opened her mouth, but was unable to utter a word for several times, with various expressions flashing across her face. Finally, she sneered and stared at the expression on my face. Jason, don't think you can get my forgiveness by using this method. If it was just a small matter in the past, I would have let it go, but this time you really went too far. And where's the chicken soup I asked you to make for Ryan? Where is it? I raised my hand. Order takeout now, do you want it? Emily was furious and slapped my phone away with her hand. Jason, what do you mean? Is it difficult to take care of Ryan and be considerate of Ryan? He just jumped off a building and his wounds haven't healed yet. He also has a seriously ill father. Are you still human? You are playing some tricks here to deliberately piss me off. Ryan made a few aggrieved noises appropriately. It's okay, Emily. People like me don't deserve to be alive, let alone wear Jason's old clothes. Emily finally reacted after she finished speaking. Looking at Ryan's red and swollen eyes, she gritted her teeth and stepped on the clothes as if to prove something. The moment my foot landed, my expression froze. I only heard her angrily say, "Yeah, Jason, why don't you give Ryan all the new clothes in your closet? Do you look down on him? Go get it now, or I'll divorce you. There is also chicken soup. I must see it this time." I kept my head down, looking at the trampled clothes on the ground. After a long while, a voice came out from his throat. "Okay, let's get a divorce." Emily was stunned, and she slowly turned back to look at me. Our eyes met. Her lips trembled. "What did you say?" I sneered. "My wife is pregnant with someone else's child, and you still want me to deliver clothes and make soup for the mistress. Emily, who do you think I am? A brainless idiot, or your toy? Let's finish it. We're done here." As soon as he finished speaking, Ryan suddenly got off the bed and slammed his knees on the ground with a dull sound. "I'm sorry, Jason. I was ignorant. Please don't divorce Emily. She loves you very much. I'm going to ask her to abort the child right now, and I'll stay away from her and won't bother you anymore." Emily's pupils constricted, and she almost rushed forward to support Ryan. His eyes were filled with pity. "What are you doing? Get up quickly." Then he looked at me fiercely. "Jason, there should be a limit to your nonsense. I am pregnant with his child now, and it is his father's only hope to stay in this world. Will you be satisfied only if you kill them?" I closed my eyes gently. "You can still accomplish all this after you divorce me." She gritted her teeth and said, "Don't forget that my grandfather saved your life. What right do you have to file for divorce?" I sighed. "Even if it's just repaying a favor, 3 years of dating and 1 year of marriage should be enough for me." Emily clenched her hands and growled through gritted teeth. "Okay, let's get a divorce." "Why wouldn't I dare? But Jason, everything you have on you is purchased with my card. If we get a divorce, you have to keep everything I bought for you." Many people had gathered at the door because of our quarrel, and they were all looking at me. No one understood why, but when they found out that I was using Emily's money, they all looked at me with disdain. "Emily, all my wages are deposited into your card on time every month. Why should the clothes I bought be considered yours?" Emily laughed mockingly. "How can it not count? You used my card to buy everything. You promised me that everything you gave me would be mine. You gave me the money, so how can it not count as mine? If you want a divorce, take off your clothes and get out. Otherwise, forget it." I was really amused by Emily's words. Even some people in the crowd at the door expressed doubts. Is it still necessary to pay this if I buy some clothes after I hand over the money? Besides, I think this woman is cheating on me. Various sounds mixed together, making Emily blush. But she still clenched her fists and stared at me. It seemed as if I had made up my mind that I would not leave today. After waiting for a minute, he saw that I was hesitant. Emily sneered. "Since you've taken care of me for 4 years, I'll just pretend that what happened today never happened. Come over here and apologize to Ryan, and I won't mention divorce anymore." As she spoke, she turned around to help Ryan. The man leaned in Emily's arms and gave me a disdainful look. The mouth opened and closed, and the spoken words seemed to say, "Coward." Almost instantly my brain exploded and all the blood rushed out. Emily waited for a long time, but there was no movement from me. She turned around and glared at me impatiently. "Why are you still standing there? Ryan's leg is broken, and I can't get up unless you come and help me." I raised my hand and gently unbuttoned my shirt. The voice was calm. "I hope you will do what you say." Emily's pupils shrank sharply. Shock flashed across her face, and her eyes fell on my hands that were undressing me, one after another, until a large area of my chest was exposed. Emily's face became darker and darker. "Do you really want a divorce?" I nodded. "Do I have to help you raise his child if we don't divorce?" Emily couldn't stand it any longer. "Jason, I said that I would end my relationship with him after the baby is born, and I would not care about the baby. What are you fussing about? I've been dating you for 3 years, and 1 year of marriage is not as good as the short 6 months you've known him. Staying in a marriage like this is just torture." I took off my coat and said, "You are going to give birth to his children, and you are going to love him. Then I am willing to withdraw." The shirt and jacket fell to the ground, and Emily still looked at me with gritted teeth. It seems like he thinks I can only take off my clothes to this extent. It wasn't until my hand was on the belt that she yelled, "But you promised my grandfather that you would take care of me for the rest of my life." A tear fell from the corner of my eye. Yes, when her grandfather was carried out of the fire scene, his whole body was burned beyond recognition. He held my hand tightly and begged, "Jason, I have no other hope but for my granddaughter to be happy." I shook my head. "Your grandfather just wants you to be happy, but right now your happiness is with Ryan, not with me. It's best for us to separate." As he was speaking, his belt loosened, and just before his pants were about to fall off, Emily swooped over. Faster than Emily's, a hand rushed in from outside the door. He grabbed my pants which were about to fall off and helped me fasten my belt in a not-so-neat manner. Lily. Lily looked up at me, her eyes filled with longing and care. She turned back to look at Emily angrily. "If it wasn't for your grandfather, I wouldn't have given him to you. I didn't expect that he had such a bad year." Emily gritted her teeth. "What's this got to do with you?" Lily raised an eyebrow. "Of course, I am his divorce lawyer now. Your request for him to strip naked and leave before you can get a divorce is not legally valid. The money he spent is considered common property. It cannot be divided between you and me before you divorce. Even if we divorce, the money he put in will still be his." Emily blushed and clenched her teeth at what Lily said. Shall Bluff BOT document anti-piracy. Find, book, machine select Shall Bluff, stable and reliable. Don't step into pitfalls. But she still grasped the key point and asked me in a trembling voice, "Is she the divorce lawyer you hired?" I started by saying, "Lily is now a well-known lawyer specializing in divorce cases." Emily got annoyed when she heard that, and she stood up and rushed to me. But Lily blocked him tightly, and she shouted, "What divorce lawyer? I think you just want to rekindle your old relationship with her. We also want her to handle our divorce case. Have you been hanging out together since early morning to pave the way for today?" The next second, there was a snapping sound. Emily's face was hit crooked, and she turned back in disbelief. Looking at Lily, "Why did you hit me? You've been hanging out with your assistant since early morning, and you're pregnant with his child. Jason will win this divorce. Because he did nothing wrong in this marriage. We never contacted each other in advance. Stop gossiping about him here." Emily's mouth twitched. "You said no, then no? You are all grasshoppers standing on the same rope. Isn't it ridiculous to say these things?" Lily tilted her head. "Even if it's fake, so what? Is it as outrageous as you being pregnant with someone else's child?" Emily frowned and looked at me. "Jason, I've explained to you that I'm pregnant with Ryan through artificial insemination. There is no other meaning between us except to fulfill his father's last wish." I taunted. "Then why are you at the hospital today?" Ryan finally stopped playing dumb. He limped over and gently grabbed Emily's arm. "I'm sorry, Emily. I've caused you trouble. Why don't you just forget about it? Don't let this ruin your relationship with Jason. Dad has been sick for a long time. Sooner or later, he will." As he spoke, his eyes filled with tears and his voice choked with sobs. "So even if I don't have a grandson, it doesn't matter." Emily's eyes moved, hesitant. Holding Ryan's hand, he finally looked at me with impatience. "I'm going to abort the baby in a moment. Are you satisfied? Can you please stop making trouble?" Then he turned around and grabbed Ryan's hand. "Don't worry, I will find the best medical team for your father after the abortion. One more day is one more day." Ryan tightened his hands at his sides. Then he forced a smile and said, "Okay, thank you, Emily." Lily was confused by this sudden change. He turned his head and looked at me blankly, his lips opening and closing. In the end, he said nothing, but bent down, picked up my shirt, and tried to help me put it on. Emily was already fiddling with her phone to find a medical team for Ryan. I thought I would feel a little lost and sad, but I didn't. I opened my mouth without thinking. "No need. Don't delay your original plan. Otherwise I will become the culprit who killed 2 people. My conscience is guilty." Emily frowned and looked over impatiently, then finally put down her phone. "Jason, are you done yet? I've done this much for you. Why do you still want a divorce?" But I'm not angry just because she's pregnant with someone else's child. It's because 1 year after we got married, she ignored me many times because of Ryan. On my birthday, she took Ryan on a trip, and the 2 of them took photos and watched fireworks at the beach. He only comes back for a few days every 2 or 3 months. I even called her when I had a stomachache and wanted her to come back and be with me. But she angrily scolded him. "Jason, you are a grown man. Why are you so delicate?" She was abroad celebrating Ryan's birthday and booked an entire concert to perform for him. So my heart didn't just turn cold all at once. The desire to leave doesn't just happen all at once. I pursed my lips. "Lily, when can you draft the divorce agreement?" Lily's eyes lit up and she smiled brightly. "Tomorrow. Emily, I will send you the divorce agreement tomorrow. I hope you can sign and complete all the formalities as soon as possible so that we can part ways amicably." After saying that, I turned and left. Emily grabbed the hem of her clothes. Her hands were shaking slightly. Because no matter how much I made a fuss before, I never asked her to sign the divorce agreement. "Are you serious?" Emily's voice was almost trembling. His eyes were fixed on me, and he seemed not to dare to move away. I casually brushed her hand away and turned back calmly. Yes. Then my grandfather died to save you. That's nothing. I didn't pay attention to this sentence. I walked straight out of the hospital, and many people automatically made way for me. Emily shouted angrily behind him. Jason, if you dare to leave, I will divorce you. Even if you beg me in the future, I will not remarry you. These words seemed to sink into the ocean, never to receive a response from me again. Emily just watched me walk further away. My heart subconsciously sank to the bottom. Many people looked over at her with gossip, amusement, and all kinds of funny looks mixed together, making Emily feel like she was in a state of anger. It's extremely hot. She raised her hand and slammed the door shut, leaving behind a curse. Ryan had already been unable to suppress his excitement, and the corners of his mouth were rising uncontrollably. But she still suppressed it, and Dress said comfortingly, It's okay, Emily. Jason loves you so much, he must be angry with you. It's all my fault for making things difficult for you and causing you to quarrel so fiercely. Emily calmed down after hearing that. Yes, I was just angry with her. After all, I had been unhappy with Ryan many times before. This year has been full of quarrels, big and small. It's not surprising. I might regret it in a few days. Thinking of this, Emily curled her lips and touched Ryan's hair. Of course I know he's just angry with me. He's always like this. Not even 1/10 as obedient as you. But even though I said that, I always felt uneasy. Ryan grabbed Emily's hand, his face flushed with shame. So Emily, do you still want to abort our child? Emily was reminded of this, and subconsciously her mind replayed my angry look just now. Nodding, let's get rid of it. He cares about it more than before. Although he married me because of my grandfather's death, he is still my husband after all, and I should care about his opinion. Don't worry, even if I abort the baby, I will find the best medical team for your father. Ryan's eyes flashed with reluctance when he heard this. He moved closer to Emily and carefully put his arm around her waist, pressing their bodies together. Ryan's breath fanned Emily's cheek, and his thin lips touched hers. Extra ambiguous. But Emily, I also really hope to have a child with you. You don't know how happy I was when you promised me that day that I could have a new life for you. These are things I never dared to dream of before. His eyes were red as he spoke. Although the time I had him was short, I was very happy. Emily looked reluctant and subconsciously hugged Ryan into her arms. She patted his back soothingly. It's okay. In the future, there will be someone you love and who will give birth to a child for you. Ryan clenched his hands, which were hanging at his sides. It was just a little bit short. Why did this happen? After saying that, Emily was about to let go of Ryan, but Ryan grabbed her again and touched Emily's belly. Suddenly, Emily, is it my illusion? Why do I feel my baby kicking me? Emily paused and involuntarily touched her belly, slowly curling his lips, revealing a bit of bitterness. Ryan, don't be sad. There will be more in the future. Jason is unhappy now, so I'd better abort it first. After he finished speaking, he took out his cell phone and made an appointment for surgery the next day. Ryan saw it all, but I didn't know how to speak out to stop it. The next day, Ryan was waiting outside when Emily came out of the operating room, holding the chicken soup I bought from takeout. He handed it to Emily's mouth. Emily, you've suffered a lot. Drink some chicken soup to replenish your body. The moment the chicken soup was brought to her nose, Emily frowned at the pungent chicken smell. My stomach was churning, and I raised my hand to throw the chicken soup to the ground. Where did this come from? It smells so disgusting. How can I possibly drink it? Ryan looked helpless. Emily, this is takeout I ordered from a high-end restaurant. Maybe I waited too long. It smells a bit bad. If you don't like it, I can order something else. Emily felt uncomfortable all over when she heard that it was a takeout order. I was even more angry. But seeing Ryan's innocent face, I couldn't say anything else and could only wave my hands. But she still inexplicably thinks of my kindness. She was hospitalized because of appendicitis before, and I prepared nutritious meals for her in different ways every day. I spent almost the entire day in the kitchen learning the dishes from the cookbook, just because she doesn't like eating out. But Ryan, who was standing by his side, had no idea about this. Emily just felt a headache and missed me inexplicably. After rubbing his head, Ryan came over to please him. After massaging her temples, the headache was only relieved for a moment. Emily suddenly saw an order paper in the corner. Chicken soup, Yuan. Suddenly my brain felt like it exploded, and all the anger rushed up from my chest. She snatched up the order form and threw it in Ryan's face. Is the chicken soup at your fancy hotel 9.99 yuan? Ryan was caught off guard, and his whole face showed panic. He grabbed the order nervously. Emily, let me explain. The chicken soup at the high-end restaurant is sold out today, so I have to settle for the next best thing. Before he could finish his words, Emily raised her hand and slapped him hard in the face. Is he the only high-end restaurant in a city as big as ours? You bought me a 9.99 yuan meal and brought it back to disgust me, didn't you? Ryan, I've been very kind to you, even because you aborted the baby, and yet you treat me like this. Not only did you not do it for me yourself, but you also gave me a perfunctory response. Ryan was beaten to tears. He also tried to play pitiful to gain Emily's sympathy. But Emily doesn't buy it at all now. There is a huge difference between Ryan and me. She felt cold in her heart. I just felt my head getting more stuffy and painful. He raised his hand and told Ryan to get out. He sat beside her with grievance, tears falling one by one. I'm sorry, Emily. His hands climbed over, and he kept trying to please me. This eased Emily's mood a little, but the next second there was a knock on the door. Lily was standing at the door, holding a document in her hand, and walked over. She opened the document and handed it to him without saying a word. Take a look at these terms. They are very reasonable. Jason has sufficient evidence of your infidelity, but for the sake of your grandfather, he didn't ask you to leave the house and split the marital property equally. If it's okay, please sign it. Emily paused when she saw the document. It seemed as if even my breathing had stopped. She raised her hand dully to take it, and flipped to the last page like crazy, where my name was already written. Emily opened her lips and muttered, Impossible. How can he divorce me? He clearly said that he would stay with me forever. He owes me this, and he owes my grandfather this. How can he divorce me if he hasn't paid off his debt in this lifetime? Lily narrowed her eyes and smiled coldly. You already have a man by your side, and you still have the nerve to ask Jason for a lifetime? What I hate most is people like you who cheat and pretend to be affectionate. What are you pretending to be? Hurry up and sign the contract. Xiaohu bot prevents documents from being piracy. If you are looking for a book robot, choose Xiaohu. It is stable and reliable, and you will not fall into traps. Emily grabbed the document and wrinkled the corner of it. But his hands were still shaking, and he couldn't muster up the courage to pick up the pen to sign. He looked at Lily stubbornly. I don't believe he wants to divorce me. I want to see him wherever he is. Lily mocked. Mingxuan's flight this morning has already gone abroad. You won't find him. You can recognize the signature above, right? It's his own handwriting. Don't fool yourself. Emily was broken by these words. Yeah, how could she not recognize my handwriting? The signature left on it is clearly mine. But she just didn't want to believe it all, and she held the document for a long time without being able to put pen to paper. Before Lily could speak, he threw all the documents at her. Get out. Get out of here. I don't want to see this file. I won't divorce him either. Don't even think about it. He owes me and my grandfather everything in his life. Then he pushed Lily out the door. Ryan stood in the house with a deep frown on his face. He thought Emily would sign without hesitation, but why didn't Emily do that now? Just as I was about to say something to pretend to comfort her, Emily's cell phone rang. Emily rushed over to answer the call almost immediately. Jason. But the next second her expression froze on her face. She looked up blankly and slowly looked over. His eyes met Ryan's. Ryan seemed to see the hatred gradually deepening in Emily's eyes. She opened her lips, her voice trembling. Really? After the call ended, Ryan felt uneasy and slowly moved closer to Emily. Emily, what did Jason say? Emily shook her head. It wasn't Jason calling. Ryan breathed a sigh of relief. But when he turned his head, he found that Emily was still looking at him, and her eyes were strange. For a moment, my heart was in the air. What's wrong, Emily? You keep looking at me. Are you still angry? I'm sorry. I will be serious next time and won't order such low-quality chicken soup to perfunctorily deal with you. Emily's face darkened a little bit. Ryan, which hospital is your father in? Ryan looked stiff, and after a while he said, Central Hospital. Have you forgotten what I told you before? Emily raised her hand and slapped him hard across the face. You are still lying to me. My people and the medical team went to Central Hospital, but there is no record of your father being hospitalized. She yelled, full of anger at being deceived. So your father is fine and didn't have any last wishes. Tell me why you lied to me. Ryan's face was hit crooked, with confusion and unwillingness overlapping on his face. I just love you too much, Emily. I just want to have a child of our own. Emily sneered, but I'm married. So what if we're married? You still slept with me, celebrated my birthday with me, went to the beach with me, and bought me a lot of things I wanted. I know you didn't do that with him, so I beg you to give me a child. Even if you're married, you still promised me. Emily was so angry that her entire face turned red. That's because you lied to me. Your dad is dying. You agreed to it. You are already married. You agreed to it because you love me. Ryan said excitedly, taking a step closer to Emily. Emily, Jason is going to divorce you now, so why don't you just agree just like before? Promise me that you will be with me. Emily kept shaking her head, tears welling up in her eyes. That's not the case. This is not what she wants. It turns out that all of this is wrapped in lies. There is no truth. She raised her hand and tried to slap Ryan, but Ryan grabbed her tightly. There was deep affection and reluctance in his eyes. Why don't you want to agree to me? Didn't you say before that you like me a lot? My kung fu is even better than Jason's. Emily spat loudly, spitting all over Ryan's face. I was deceived before. You are a liar. Get out of here. Ryan turned his head away, angry and embarrassed. He grabbed Emily and pressed her down on the bed, then lowered his head and kissed her again. Emily struggled and retched continuously, but couldn't break free from Ryan's grip. In a panic, he grabbed the desk lamp next to him and smashed it at Ryan. The blood dripped slowly, extremely hot. I learned that Ryan was turned into a vegetable by Emily when Lily came back from China. Her face was filled with a happy smile, and she kept telling me interesting stories about the two people. Lily fought my divorce case in the country for 3 months. Finally, I got the divorce certificate, and she handed it to me like a treasure. But when I tried to take it, he held on to it tightly and wouldn't let go. His eyes twinkled. I've finished your business, but what about mine? I raised an eyebrow. What is it? Lily's voice was aroused. This is my most important event in life. Just as I was about to reply, I suddenly saw Emily appear behind her. She looked much older and her clothes were casually put on. Standing not far away, his eyes fell on me, extremely hot and scorching, even filled with tears. Jason, are you with her? I shook my head. She walked towards me with bright eyes. Then, will you remarry me? Just think of it as taking care of me for my grandfather. As for me, I took a step back, my voice full of indifference. I'm done with you. I must have repaid your grandfather's kindness. It's you who don't cherish it. You know very well how much I have loved you and treated you well in the past 4 years. I don't want to go on. Emily's tears rolled down, and she stepped forward helplessly to grab my hand. But I dodged it and broke down and cried like a child. I watched helplessly, but never reached out my hand. That's enough, Emily. Don't come to me again. Then turned and left. Emily's crying behind me was so heartbreaking, but it no longer caused me any emotional fluctuations. Lily followed me, smiling happily. Wow, you finally figured it out. What about my lifelong event have you figured it out? I couldn't help but laugh, but didn't answer. In the future, I will open up a new career in a new world. I don't care what other people do.